Good luck.
Hello, everyone from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville. We're so excited that you're here today and that you're here to join us to hear us talk about our wonderful university. So to introduce myself, my name is Nabila Soji. I am the international recruiter, and I'm joined today by Mr. Martisek. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Jason Martisek. I'm the Assistant Director for International Recruitment at UT. And I'm happy to be here with you all.
Awesome. So Knoxville is located in the state of Tennessee, which is on the eastern part of the United States. So you'll see our map that we have here. We're the big orange state right there. Our school colors are orange and white, and we love orange. And so it's kind of perfect that our state there is colored in orange. So we are conveniently located within a day's drive of the majority of the eastern side of the United States. And so you'll see most of the main big cities there. You have New York, Orlando, any of these cities that you see on the right-hand side, you can really drive within a day and be there. We're also very lucky. We have an airport, which is about 20 minutes away from campus. It's fantastic, small airport, but it's really easy to get in and out of anywhere really that you need to be in the world. We have some pictures there on the right-hand side of Knoxville, and as we go through the presentation, we'll have a few more pictures for you as well, so you have a good idea of our area and the surroundings around here. Nature is everywhere here, and we love it so much, and we'll show you a little bit more of that as we go on. All right, so as I mentioned, nature's everywhere. We have 112 miles of greenway here in Knoxville. The picture that you see up there on the left-hand side, the first one, is of our downtown area. The downtown area is about a 5-minute drive from campus, and so students typically, any day of the week, mostly the weekends, will be in the downtown area when everything is back up and running. We're going to have our food trucks and farmers markets and all kinds of festival and events going on downtown. So it's very, very vibrant. It's a really exciting place to be. All kinds of restaurants and things to do down there as well. We have like I said, a diverse range of events that go on and festivals as well. We have, and we'll go through the presentation, there's like international food festivals that go on here. Knoxville itself has a population of just under 200,000 people. So we're a pretty good sized city, not too big, not too small, pretty much has everything that you're looking for. Some of the stats that we have there, you'll see we have been ranked as one of the best places to live and one of the favorite cities in America. So we're really proud of that as well. We have the Smoky Mountains National Park, which is the #1 most visited national park in the country. And it's here within like a 45-minute drive of campus. Again, as we go through the presentation, we have some fantastic pictures of the Smoky Mountains to show you as well. It's really beautiful. Oh, actually, there we go. Sooner than later. So these are some pictures from the Great Smoky Mountains. And so I've been out there, God, so many times. And actually, I'd say half of the times that I'm there, we see bears in some form. So lots of wildlife and nature and all kinds of things to do out there as well. There are a couple of cities right near the Smoky Mountains. And so there's lots of like little theme parks and amusement attractions, things like that to do out there too. All right, so the University of Tennessee, we were founded in 1794, and so we have been around for quite some time. We've worked out all the issues. We kind of have it figured out at this point. We have over 360 undergraduate degrees that you can be a part of, and so we literally have a degree for every day of the year. Everything from engineering, advertising, biology, psychology, you name it, we have it. We have over 30,000 students, and so that includes our undergraduate students and graduate students as well. However, even with the university of that size, we can still keep our class sizes down pretty small. So you'll see the first stat on that screen there that our student to faculty ratio is 17:1. And so your classrooms are going to be pretty small. You can still get that personal interaction with your professors, get any kind of help that you need as well. A stat that we're pretty proud of is that 84% of our graduates are employed or in graduate school within 6 months of graduation. And so we do have some excellent resources within our university to help students be successful and make sure that they're doing exactly what it was that they wanted to do. We do have some pretty highly ranked programs as well. Our College of Business is ranked number 28 in the country, and the College of Engineering is ranked number 34. The university as a whole is ranked 52nd amongst public universities within the United States.
And something that we'll touch on a little later is kind of our hands-on learning, but we are classified as an R1 Carnegie distinction or research institution. There's maybe about 30 or 40 in the US that fall with this category, but that basically just means that we spend over $260 million a year purely on research, and students take a large part of that experience with them as they go through school and as they graduate and go into their employment.
Awesome. So we have our international population here. And so within our student body, about 1,200 students are international students. The majority of them are graduate students, but we do have a pretty good amount of undergraduate students as well. You'll see our little graph there. Excuse me. About 42% of our students come from China. Next is India with about 13%, Iran, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia, and then about the other countries are about 32%. So we do have a pretty diverse population within our international population as well. And so we're really proud of that too. All right, so we have quite a few academic colleges that fall within our university. We have our agriculture, architecture, arts and sciences, business, really anything that you'd wanted to do, we do have a college associated with that. So within these colleges is where those 360 majors that I mentioned would fall under. And so if you're interested in mechanical engineering, for example, that would be under the Tickle College of Engineering. And so they would fall under each one of these colleges. So we do have a College of Law and a College of Veterinary Medicine as well. All right, so we have quite a few different opportunities for experiential learning on campus for students. We have the Office of Undergraduate Research. So this office really allows students to engage in research at the undergraduate level. So whether you're new to research and you're looking for opportunities to get involved, or you have already done some research, you want to present your work or publish your work, they would be the office to really help you do that. And we also have the Oakridge National Lab, which is a major hub of research at UT. So it is one of the largest government labs in the country, and it's a really major center for research. It actually features 2 of the world's most powerful supercomputers, so that's pretty cool. We do have some living learning communities on campus. Really what this means is that, let's say you're a nursing student, for example, you have the option of living in a community or in a housing community with other nursing students. And so we have quite a few of these little living learning communities that you can be a part of. This way it helps you make friends either within your major or within your interest as well. Moving down a little bit, we do have the Center for Career Development. This is going to be the office that really helps you sharpen up your interview skills. They'll help you with your resume. They have like mock interviews, career fairs. Right now, their career fairs are virtual. And so, you know, when we're all back and running all together, they do have really big events that go on in person as well.
And just kind of touch off on that a little bit more. We do have an Office of Student Success, which is basically geared towards ensuring students continue through their 4 years at UT and succeed. Their whole ideal is that if there's anything a student needs, they can get access to it. So if it's writing skills, math skills, anything like that, there are different offices on campus that will help you through your classes. To kind of touch on Oakridge National Lab and kind of connecting that to the classroom, we have some of our faculty members are at the top of the research that is going into different programs throughout the country. We actually have 2 of the top molecular biology and molecular chemistry researchers on faculty at UT. We have, I think, 4% of the most cited researchers in papers. They are actually faculty members at UT. And so our students at UT get to study under these people who are at basically the pinnacle of their research. And so we have a lot of different things that kind of break here at UT. So our medical center, which is actually in Memphis, they're actually working on a COVID vaccine right now. The inventor of the N95 mask, I believe is what it's called. He's a UT graduate. And on top of that, so going to forensic science, we are basically at the forefront of forensic science. It actually kind of started at UT. We have what's called a body farm, where they do research on basically the decay within the body and in different environments. It's actually really, really neat. But going to the other side of that, so the business side of it. So we actually have a very, very robust business college at UT, and we have a lot of emphasis on entrepreneurship, and we really, really push that. The president of our system is basically an entrepreneur. He started the invisible fence idea, or he started at the same time as another company, but yeah, he pretty much owns that, and he is actually a volunteer at UT because he's basically our president for free. So, but his name is Randy Boyd, and actually, if you see there, the Boyd Venture Challenge, that is something that he has for our entrepreneurial students and our majors, that they get to compete and they get basically grants to start their own business once they graduate or before they graduate. And kind of going along with that, we have students that in their freshman or sophomore all the way through the other 2 years, they are doing research with faculty and writing papers and things like that. And we have students that actually get patents on things that they develop as students at UT. And we have students that start businesses as students at UT. So there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of hands-on learning, and it's a major focus at UT.
All right, so we do have a lot of resources for students on the academic side of things as well. So to start off, we have the Center for Career Development that I talked about already, and then we also have the Academic Success Center. And so the Student Support Center, it's really just there to kind of help you. I know when I was in school, I used the Academic Success Centers a lot. If you're working on a paper and you need someone to just kind of look over it, if you need tutoring help, things like that, these centers are going to be essential for you to just kind of go get a little bit more help. We do have 14 residence halls on campus, and we have over 7,000 residents that live within them. So we also have 14 living learning communities, which were the communities that I was talking about earlier, where you can take a larger population, kind of make it a lot smaller, make friends within your major or your interests. We also have over 600 clubs and organizations that you can be a part of. Really anything that you can think of. A chocolate lovers club, aeronautics club, napping club, whatever it is that you would like to be interested in or join in, we definitely have a club available for that. So if for some reason there is not a club already or organization on campus already for an interest that you would like to be in, you can actually just grab a faculty member and one more friend and start your own club. And so that's actually a pretty cool thing to have on your resume as well, that you started your own student club or organization. We do have some intramurals and club sports available on campus as well. We have our Rec Sports Center, which has a number of programs for students. And so there's like fitness centers, there's aquatics, we do have some pools in there. And so you kind of have your friendly competition, you know, with other students. There's like basketball courts, tennis courts. And so that is available at no charge to our students as well. We do have sororities and fraternities on campus as well, and we have over 20 international organizations. And so we have our like Latin American student organization, really kind of Asian students, African students, and so there's lots of different organizations that you can be a part of in that way as well. We have, lastly, on here, the International House, which we lovingly call the iHouse on campus. The iHouse is fantastic. It's a place for international students to kind of congregate and connect with each other. It's open to every student, not just international students. If you walk in there on any given day, there is free coffee, there's some free snacks for students, and then they have study spaces available. And they do also run quite a few programs for students within the iHouse as well. So definitely a way for you to connect with other students and international students as well, if you'd like to. All right, so we have some great pictures on here. We have our American football on campus. It is quite a big deal. We love our American football. Our stadium is called Neyland Stadium, and it seats over, I think, 102,000 people within that stadium. It is the 5th largest stadium, like for universities within the United States. And so it is huge. The atmosphere in there is amazing. So we have our marching band within that. And so that's the picture that you see down there at the bottom. Our school mascot is Smokey, the dog. And so he's right there in the middle as well. On the right-hand side, that is one of the, I love that building. It is on campus. It's called Ayers Hall. And so they do host a celebration for new incoming students there in the beginning of the year. On the left over there, you'll see a picture of the rock on campus. It is literally just that. It is a giant rock that we have. And it allows students to kind of have free speech, free expression. You can go on there and decorate it. You'll see it decorated differently, I'd say probably a few times a day. People can go on there and kind of, you know, either invite students to different events or anything that's going on culturally. You'll kind of see it reflected on the rock as well. So that's pretty fun.
So lighting the way. So a big part of what makes UT unique and special, and it's actually one of the things that kind of brought me to UT, is the idea of the volunteer spirit. So we're known at UT as the volunteers. Tennessee is known as the volunteer state. There's a long history of that, or for that. But UT, we're known as the volunteers. We're known as the vols. So if you're on our website or you hear somebody say vol, don't get confused, because that's what it is. It's short for volunteer. But volunteering is a major part of what makes UT unique. We believe that you're coming to UT, you're coming to our university to gain an education, not just to benefit you, but to benefit your community or the world at large. And we kind of symbolize that in our torchbearer, which is the statue that you see right here in this picture. And I have to admit, I've been working at UT since January, and I still drive past this every time I come to work, and I love seeing it every morning and every afternoon when I leave. There's just something about this statue. It's just, it's a wonderful statue, but it embodies what we see as our mission in the world. And it's the idea to enlighten the world through education, to bring something better to the world. And so you see on here, it says vol is a verb. And this is something that's really taken off and started with students, actually. And it's the idea that we as UT volunteers will help where we can, that everyone is here together and to help each other. And you actually see up there in that picture, vols help vols. This is a hashtag that got started some years ago, and it's basically students asking for help. So if they need a ride home, if they need help with a class, if they need anything, you'll see that hashtag, and people from campus will jump on there and help out. Our chancellor actually has gotten on there before and communicated with students through the Vols Help Vols. But like I said, it's a major part of what makes UT special. And if you see, we have, within last 4 years, we've had over 500,000 volunteer hours from all of our students. And that goes from doing things on campus to Knoxville, Tennessee, to the national. And we also have students that will go abroad to help out in different missions through UT. So if you're looking for a university where you want, like, there's an idea that you want to give back to your community or help out in some way, UT has a culture that would nurture that while you're here. You know, set you on a good path going forward.
All right, so here we'll get to the good stuff, the actual application process. And so for the fall of next year, our priority deadline is November 1st. So that's coming up pretty soon. That's our deadline really to try to get everything in as soon as possible. But after that, we are on a rolling admissions. So what that means is that we will continue to accept applications until we cannot any longer. There are two ways that you can apply. You can apply through our website. We do have our own application on there, or through the common application. You will need to send us your official transcripts. And so what we do with your transcripts, we're going to need your grades from 9th through 12th grade, or as much of 12th grade as you can send us. The good thing is that we don't require you to get that evaluated or anything. Some schools, you have to send that off to a separate company and pay some, it's a little bit expensive, and then you have to send it to the school. For us, we try to evaluate that in-house for you, makes things a lot easier for you, makes it cheaper for you as well. And so we do ask that you send us your transcripts from, like I said, 9th through as much of 12th grade as possible. And it does have to be translated in English because my Turkish is not that good yet. And so, you know, that way we can go ahead and get that evaluated for you. We do have our recommendation letters. They are encouraged, but they are not required at all. So you can add that to your application. We do have an essay on the application as well. It'll have some prompts on there, but the last prompt on it is that you can write about whatever it is that you want. So if there's a topic that's of interest to you, you can just add that in there, and you know, we will accept that. For English proficiency, we do require that you have at least a minimum of a 70 on the TOEFL, a minimum 6.5 on the IELTS. Or if you took the SAT or ACT, we will take the English sections from that in place of the TOEFL or IELTS. And so on the ACT, it's a minimum 21 on the English section, and on the SAT, it's a minimum 540. Right now, we are accepting Duolingo and IELTS Indicator, and some other tests on on approval basis. So if you're going to be applying, send all of that information to us, and we will go ahead and try to get you approval for getting that Duolingo test on there. So we do not require the SAT or ACT score for the majority of our majors. And so what I mean by that is that if you are applying for a major within the College of Engineering, you do have to submit some kind of math score. So that math score can be in the form of an SAT or ACT math score, or we do have our online math placement test that you can take. And so if you have that math score already from the SAT or ACT, send that in to us. It does have to meet the minimums that you see on the screen there, a minimum 590 on the math section for the SAT and a minimum 25 on the ACT math section. The online math placement test is a UT test that we have. It's kind of great. It's pretty affordable. Excuse me. It's, I would say, I think about $12 for you to take it online. You can take it at home. It gives you 3 attempts to take it. And so, you know, if you are not able to sit for the SAT or ACT, you can just sit for the online math placement test, and that'll fill that requirement. If you are interested in applying, excuse me, if you're interested in applying for any of our competitive scholarships, you can go ahead and actually take the SAT or ACT, because we will need that for scholarships. And so if you're interested in applying for the scholarships, you really want to make sure that you're applying at least by the November 1st deadline, and then sending everything in to us by December 15th to be eligible for those scholarships. So our estimated cost of attendance is about $31,684 for the tuition. Once you add all of the other, like health insurance, your books, your housing on campus, and some miscellaneous expenses, the total cost is $46,392 annually. And so, like I said, we do have some scholarships that are available, but for the I-20 and student visa process, that is the amount that you would have to show available. So yeah, that is our cost of attendance for 1 year.
Now, we do offer an English language program at UT. It's called ELI, or English Language Institute. So if your skill level is 0 all the way up to you just barely missed your mark on the IELTS or the TOEFL, all can attend our ELI program. It's based on 8-week sessions. So there are many different options for you to go through the program. And so, I mean, if you study hard, you can come for a couple of 8-week sessions and be ready for the fall if you wanted to, try to come in the spring. But we do offer conditional admissions based on this as well. So you can go ahead and apply to UT through our application. And in that, you would just mark that you want conditional admissions. And so what we would do is we would review your academic documents. And if you meet all the requirements besides the English requirement, we would offer conditional admissions. And then the ELI program would get you into their program. You would get an I-20 through them, and you would come and study, and then move on up to your undergraduate program. Our ELI program is a pretty extensive program. It's a very low student-to-teacher ratio, so you get a lot of hands-on learning with teachers that have been they've been teaching for well over 15 to 20 years for pretty much all of them. You do get access to all of the UT facilities, so the libraries, computers, everything. You can live in the dorms if you need to, or you can live off campus. But you also get to participate in all of the UT activities as well. You're considered a UT student during all of this. And so if you feel like you need to brush up on your English skills, but you still want to come over and start getting your UT experience, ELI could be an option for you.
So there are different ways that you can get to see our campus a little bit more. We do have virtual tours that are available on our website, and so those are pretty great to give you an idea of what campus is like. And you can also chat with current students at UT, so not just like domestic students, but our international ambassadors are available to chat as well. And so all of that is available through that link down there, visit.utk.edu, excuse me. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We do have some time here at the end to go through some of your questions. And so Jason and I will be answering some of these in here. So let's see. Is the ACT or SAT required? It is. We only need the SAT or ACT if you're applying into a major within the College of Engineering and you need to submit a math score for that. But we do have the online math placement test that you can take instead of that. If you're interested in applying for any of our competitive merit-based scholarships, we do need SAT or ACT for that, but otherwise all the other majors do not need it. Yeah, so good question. Our language requirements, it is a minimum 70 on the TOEFL, minimum 6.5 on the IELTS. We do have a list on our website as well. And so I'll see if I can send you that link too for you to review that too, because we do have a few other exceptions.
There's a question on here about work permits. As a student in the U.S., you will be on an F1 visa. F1 students are not eligible to work off campus while they are in school. So there's a couple of caveats to this. You are eligible to work on campus during the semester up to 20 hours. So you can try to find a job on campus, and there are many jobs on campus, so you probably wouldn't have too much trouble trying to find one. There are two things that kind of fall into employment and internships. So you have CPT, which is permission to do an internship off campus. And like I said, a big part of most of our program, pretty much all of our degrees at UT, have some type of internship or research component to them. So you could have a paid internship sometime during your program that could qualify for CPT and allow you to work and possibly get paid while you're doing it. And of course, after you graduate, you get what's called OPT, which is optional practical training, which is for most students 1 year to work after you graduate. If you're a STEM major, so science, technology, engineering, or math, then you get an extra 2 years added to that. So your OPT is really 3 years if you're a STEM major. And all of our science programs fall within that. The only one that doesn't, just because of the government, is nursing. Nursing's kind of left out of that because we don't really need we don't really need more nurses. So that's the only one that's a little side note that they don't get to be part of it. But so you have limited to working on campus, then you get your internship, which you get CPT for, and then you have OPT after you graduate, which is a work permit for after you graduate. A lot of students will go from an OPT into an H-1B, which would be a work visa for the U.S., but that's further down the road and kind of depends on what. There's a lot of different options between starting as a student and an H-1B, though.
All right, so someone asked about life and the living costs in Tennessee. Knoxville specifically has a very low cost of living compared to like the rest of the country. I originally came here from Florida, from Orlando, and it was about the same cost of living from there, actually maybe a little bit cheaper here. I live downtown, very close to campus. It is safe, it's lively. I can't say enough good things about Knoxville. It's treated me very well over the last few years, so it's a pretty good place to live.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cost of living, we are very much on the cheaper end as far as the United States goes. Typically, larger urban areas and the East Coast and West Coast are the more expensive areas. And Knoxville, we're lucky enough that we live in a pretty big city, but at the same time, it's very, very much like a small town in a lot of ways. So it's really, really nice and convenient. I live about 20 minutes from downtown. But I have everything that I would need right here at my feet, so I don't really have to go downtown too much. Let's see what else.
So which programs are the most popular for international students who intend to do a career in the USA? Great question. I would say the most popular ones are Definitely our engineering majors, really anything that falls under the College of Engineering and Computer Science. Psychology is a pretty popular one. Architecture. What do you usually see, Jason?
Yeah, and we keep saying engineering, but we have many different engineering degrees. It really kind of depends on what you want to study as far as engineering. But there's a lot of different options. Yeah, engineering, biology, like same thing. These are very broad, but there's different options under each of these. But engineering, biology, chemistry are some of our top ones. Computer science definitely is. We have a lot of molecular science that is popular. And then on the business side, supply chain management is a very popular one right now in the U.S. And is a very high paid position across the U.S. Marketing is another one, as well as finance and accounting. All of those, basically, if you graduate with one of those, the likelihood of you finding employment quickly after graduation is pretty high. But on the flip side, teachers are always needed in the U.S., so education is another great option for students, and it can apply pretty much anywhere. But education, psychology is another one, social work, political science, history, things like that too.
And in the chat box, I sent a couple links. There's a link to our international students admissions website, so you can get some admissions information there. And I also popped in a link that has a full list of all of our majors that we offer as well. So like we said, there's over 360 majors, so lots of different opportunities, and they're all listed there. All right, do we have any scholarships for foreign students or students that have over a 3.0 GPA? Yeah, we do have the merit-based scholarships that we mentioned earlier. They are pretty competitive, and there is really no minimum GPA or anything to be eligible for it, but I would say that it's awarded to really our top 10, 20% of our applicants.
The university doesn't have its own admission exam. We have a placement exam for math. So if you're going in to engineering, you can take that exam instead of taking the ACT or SAT. But we don't have a separate exam for everyone. And something I guess I failed to mention during the presentation is actually our associate dean for engineering is actually from Istanbul. So something to keep in mind. She's very pro Turkey students. So so if you're interested, you can contact one of us and we can get you in touch with her. She would love to chat.
And she's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. The pandemic situation here in Knoxville.
Good question.
Yeah, Tennessee overall has done fairly well during all of this. There's most of the cases in Tennessee revolve around Nashville, which is kind of in the center of the state. It's about 2 hours away from us. But they had an early outbreak back in March. But for the most part, since probably late summer, it was kind of on a steadily decline a little bit. It's increasing a little now because of winter, so we could start seeing a change as it starts to get colder here. But overall, as far as Knoxville and UT itself, we've actually done very well. Our chancellor has done an amazing job of coordinating the university and getting students involved with being safe and being and staying healthy. We peaked at one time with over 1,000 cases, active cases. Oh, sorry, 600 cases. Sorry, 600 cases. But we've worked through that, and I think we're down to less than 60 right now. And last time I was updated was about a week ago when I watched the last update video that she put out. But yeah, we were down to 60 cases. So I mean, it really goes to show how much effort our university has put into keeping students safe, that our numbers are minuscule compared to other universities that are kind of having a little blowout right now with different cases. But it's kind of hard to tell what's going to happen over the next couple of months, though.
Yeah, the second part about will the semester be online? Currently, they're doing kind of a hybrid model. We do have some courses on campus, but the majority of them are online. The pandemic situation, like out within the city, you are like required to wear a mask anytime you're indoors, and people have been pretty good about doing that as well. So that's really good.
Yeah, it looks like in the spring they're going to continue on with the hybrid courses. So we're not fully online, but we have moved to mostly hybrid style classes. We'll probably continue.
Could you please give some tips for the essay that we need to submit? What kind of information should we include to make it stronger? Yeah, that's a great question. Really, you want to, like I said, there's quite a few prompts on there that you can talk about, but there is the last prompt where you can talk about whatever it was that you wanted. I always say that the strongest essays come from things that you're passionate about or things that you've been through personally. And so if there's any kind of unique situations or, you know, of course, even living abroad is pretty different. And so you can really write about anything, your experiences, anything that you think that would help us give an insight into who you are. So.
Yeah, if you don't meet all of the if you don't meet the English requirement for the university, yes, you can get conditional admission to the university and get admitted to our ELI program, our ESL classes. And like I said, you can do that. It's on 8-week sessions, so you can do that for if your skill is pretty close to meeting the standard, you can probably do that in a couple of sessions and be prepared for next fall. If you need extensive, you may need to do it a little longer. Yeah, you can definitely go ahead and apply to us, get your application started, and your application with us is good for 1 year. So as long as you finish your ELI program within a year, your current application stays current, and you don't have to worry about anything. If you go beyond that, you just have to reapply. But we still have your documents, so we just move that over to your new application.
And we have a really good relationship with the ELI office and the department on campus. And so we are in communication all the time. So if anything comes up and you need any help with that transition, we collectively as two departments are really there to make it a smooth transition for you. I think we are all caught up, Jason.
We have one that's asked if you could start online and then come to campus. That is an option. UT doesn't have a whole lot of purely online classes, but you could do maybe your first semester online and then come over. I know we have a couple of students that are in Spain right now that are doing online classes, and they're going to try to come back to UT this spring. So it is an option that if you don't feel completely safe coming to the US or traveling, or just because of logistics, it's hard to get here, you could definitely go ahead and apply and start this spring or next fall. God, hopefully not next fall. But you can start this spring online and maybe in the fall actually be able to come to UT. I think we have probably about 5 or 6 students that are doing that started this fall at UT, but they're doing it online.
Mm-hmm. Jason, could you go back on the slides to the fees slide?
Sure can.
Thank you. So to answer the last question that we got here about the program fees, this is the annual cost of attendance at the university. We do have some merit-based scholarship opportunities for you. And so what that means is that there is no separate application that you have to submit for the scholarships. You do have to make sure that you submit your application and pay the fee at least by November 1st. and then get all of your documents to us by December 15th to be eligible for those scholarships. They are not, I'll tell you that those scholarships are not full scholarships. I think the most that I've seen that they cover is about 20% of the cost of tuition. And so they're fantastic as, you know, supplemental, something to help with the tuition and fees, but it is not a full scholarship. Hopefully in the future.
Yeah, I will say, and we're in the process of trying to get more scholarship opportunities for international students. So it might be something to keep an eye on. Hopefully for next fall, we may have some available that will be extensively just for our international students outside of our merit base. But as of right now, the merit-based scholarship is all we have.
Jason, Nabila, thank you very much for covering all questions. Also, thank you very much for the informative presentation.
Yes.
It was very nice to welcome you at the IEFT Talks webinars. But just in case, if there are more questions from the students, maybe you can drop your email address in the chat box so they can contact you.
Yes, absolutely.
That's great. Thank you very much. So it was very nice to welcome you, and thank you for the all information that you provided for the students. Is there anything you would like to add before we say goodbye?
That's pretty much it for us. Thank
Yeah,
you for attending.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you again. So have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.